So you're planning a trip to El Salvador or even moving here, and you're wondering, how do I exchange my money safely and affordably without losing a big chunk of money to fees? In this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know about exchanging currency, whether you're visiting for a week or relocating long-term to El Salvador. Let's get into it. Buenas tardes, mis amigos, y bendiciones para todos ustedes. Good afternoon, my friends, and blessings to you all. Hi, my name is Charity Hagenaars. Bienvenido a mi canal if you're new here, y bienvenido de nuevo if we're already old friends. First, a quick reminder, El Salvador uses US dollars as the currency. President Bukele made Bitcoin legal tender back in 2021, but it is not necessarily accepted everywhere in the country as there's a recent change to the legislation regarding Bitcoin. However, I've had no trouble using it. So it's great news if you're coming from the United States because you don't have to change your currency. But if you're coming from pretty much anywhere else in the world, you're going to have to change your currency over to US dollars. You can bring physical cash with you and exchange it at the airport, but it's not ideal because the rates are horrible. We tried during our scouting trip to go to a bank and exchange, I think we had Canadian currency, a European currency, and maybe some British pounds, but we could not find a bank to actually exchange the currency for us. You can find that video here of us driving around all day and ending up having to go back to the airport to exchange the money. And like I said, the rates were awful. You can bring 10,000 US dollars into the country per person, and I assume they mean per adult. I'll give you our story. When we moved here, we brought $12,000 in US currency with us. And when she asked us to declare how much money we were bringing, I said 12,000, and she looked at me kind of funny, and I said, well, not just me, but for all of us. So I don't know if she was only thinking me and my husband, which would meant $20,000. And since I didn't have over 20, I couldn't try that out. But I needed that money to pay for a shipping container because at that time I had no good way of giving them the money they needed to be paid for the shipping container. And I think they took 7,000 of that money, and the other 5,000 went pretty quick once we did our damage deposit on our rental, our first month's rent, our furniture, appliances. That went really fast. So that money went away quick. And now what do? Now I still need US dollars to live. I need to be able to buy groceries, etc., etc. So what did we do? Plus, carrying large amounts of cash isn't ideal because we were terrified until we got to pay for the shipping container. We had to put that money somewhere. We were like hiding it in places in the Airbnb, hoping that it doesn't get broken into. I don't necessarily recommend this to everyone, but that is what we did. And like I said, once we pay for that, the rest of the money just flew out the window. So now what do? We've been here 8 months. We need more cash, obviously. So I'm going to tell you how we did it. So the next best thing that we did was just using our regular ATM from a bank in Canada and our MasterCard, Visa, whatever credit card you have. That works seamlessly. Anywhere there's a point of sale machine, you could tap your, actually no, I'm gonna correct that. I could not tap my card. I always had to insert my card and put the PIN in. So I don't know if that was just my bank, because I'm trying to remember, I could tap my MasterCard, but I couldn't tap my debit card. For some reason, I don't know why that didn't work. It might work for you. I'm just telling you, the bank I was with, I go to places, give them my card, they go tap, 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 and it's not working. I'm like, no, I have to insert the card, type in the PIN, which is fine. Actually, Walmart doesn't do tap. You have to insert the card and use the PIN anyway. So I don't know if I would have noticed that if I'd only been shopping at Walmart. Once I went somewhere else and tried to tap, it didn't work. But I put it in, put the code in, it worked fine. The only issue is when I go to my bank statements and say, how much money did that actually cost me for the exchange rate? It was crappy. It was a crappy exchange rate. So the other thing you could do is just go to an ATM and take out cash. Now, don't ever do that on the 15th or the 30th of the month because you'll be there for a very, very long time. So we go to Metro Centro Lourdes most of the time because that's where our bank is now. But they also have bank machines from all over there. And I would say 80% of the time we went there, there are lineups outside the bank doors all the way down to the entrance of the mall. So it's not ideal. Sometimes it's quick. You just go to the door and tell the guard what you're looking for. Like when I needed the wire transfer information, I just had to ask them at the desk. I didn't have to wait in line because the line's on the outside to go into the inside to then line up on the inside. I don't know what it is at Banco Agricola, but it is super busy all the time. But in that mall, they had bank machines for all the banks, and they also had a Chivo machine, which I'll explain later on. You could do that. Now, I did try that. I had been with Simply, and I took my card to one of the bank machines. I'm not sure which one it even was now. And my bank charged me $3 for using a foreign ATM in Canadian. And then the bank machines only give you $500. Now, my limit in Canada was $1,000 a day. So 500 Americans, like, what, 750 USD. So I went to take out, I tried to take out more, it didn't work. So 500 was the maximum, I put $500 USD. So Canada charged me $3 for this foreign ATM fee. This ATM charged me $7.91 USD to take the money out. And then I had to pay the exchange. So it turned out for me to take out 500 USD, it cost me $722.12 Canadian. And by this time, I could have put my card in to take out the rest of the difference to the $1,000, but I'm still paying about $13 Canadian to take out any transaction, whether it's $500 or $200. That didn't seem worth it to me. So I just took out the $500 and that was it. And as you can see from this picture, I actually intentionally withdrew it from the wrong account. It was the account that was associated with my checking on my card instead of my savings, and I actually overdrew it, so I couldn't even take out another $500 if I wanted to because my overdraft limit was $500. It was actually lucky because it would have cost me another $13 just to take out $200. So luckily that did prevent me from taking out more in this fashion because this was a very expensive way to take out money. So if you are going to use the ATM, it takes it from the account that's associated with your tap, which I had a separate account for that. Not necessarily, you can't necessarily select the account you take it out of. I don't remember there being an option to go from checking to savings, but maybe at the time it's all in Spanish. Maybe I didn't notice it, but I'm pretty sure it didn't offer to let me switch the account. Just keep that in mind. So here's some tips. Choose ATMs that are in malls or other really populated places, just for safety. Plus there's always security guards around. And use machines during business hours in case your card gets stuck and you need someone to take it back out for you. That's really important. That hasn't happened to me, but that's always a fear. Now, like I said, you can use credit cards. That's what most people use. Easy way to track your expenditures. You just go to your credit card statement. You can see exactly what you spent money on. But the exchange rate is awful. Like, it's not a good exchange rate. These banking cartels make money any which way they can from you, and this is one of the ways they do it. But if you don't want to carry large sums of cash and you need make a big purchase, like maybe your hotel room is really expensive and you're staying for a week and it's a couple $1,000, don't want to be carrying around the couple $1,000, credit cards definitely are an easy way to do it. And we actually bought our appliances on credit cards so that I could just easily make payments on them later as my money came in. So that's how we did it for our big things like the fridge and the freezer and the stove and the washing machine. We actually put that on credit card. So when I go to a simple exchange app, it tells me if I have $100 Canadian, I'm only going to get $71 USD. On average, it's just a really bad exchange rate from Canadian to US dollars. Bank gives you maybe a little worse than that, but I can tell you some better options actually that give you better rate than that. So stay tuned. So one of the other things is an online wire transfer. And if you're going to stay here for a long time or make a really big purchase, this is something you're probably going to have to do. So you could wire transfer money directly from your Canadian or European bank to your Salvadorian bank account. There are some criteria with that. You have to have opened a bank account here, for one. You may need a temporary residency card to do that because we waited till we got the card to do it. And then our bank said we had to wait 3 months to do a wire transfer. So that's not an immediate thing, so just tell you that. Or if you need a wire transfer to a Salvadorian's bank account, which is what we had to do for the rest of the shipping container fees, or the middle part, I guess we did 3 transfers altogether. But this middle part, we actually used a wire transfer. And when I looked up doing the wire transfer from my Simply Bank account to, I think it was Banco Cuscatlán, maybe, I can't remember the other guy's account, it was, again, horrible exchange rates. So I thought, I heard of other ways. Let me go check those out. So one of the other ways I heard of was using Wise. Now, there are other ones. There's Xoom, which is Xoom, and I'll try to put a list here of the other ones I found. Wise is the only one I've used. I can only give you my personal experience with Wise. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not even saying I recommend it because I hear they may be involved in debanking people, so I don't know. This is just what I did. So I went on, I found out about Wise, I opened up an account with Wise in Canadian dollars and American dollars. And then I used my, I think we used e-transfer for the first payment from my bank account into Wise. They also do a direct debit also, and they have many different ways to fund this account. So you fund this virtual account on the Wise system in Canadian dollars, and then you exchange it to the American account in American dollars. Now that was a way better rate than my bank was offering. I can tell you this is how we did it. I moved my money from my Simply Bank account to my Wise Canadian account. I exchanged it to Wise American dollars, and I wire transferred it to my shipping company's Salvadorian bank account. And in that transaction, it was about $10,000. I saved 200 Canadian dollars by doing it that way. If I would have just went from my bank to his Salvadorian bank, I would have lost $200. So there definitely is a reason to use something like this third-party online app called Wise or Xoom. You know, there's Venmo, PayPal. There's all kinds of ways to move money. This is just what I had done, and this is how much money I saved. Just letting you know. So Wise also does other currencies, but it had to be coming out of Canada, and I think US as well. Because if I change my country to El Salvador, it doesn't work anymore because I tried to do a wire transfer from YouTube into my American Wise account saying I lived in El Salvador. That didn't work at all. I had to switch that all back. And when I got paid from YouTube, it had to be paid into a Salvadorian bank account, which was another long story. I finally gotten paid by YouTube because I had to wait 3 months to do a wire transfer with my account. And finally that all went through. Thank goodness. I got a little bit of money now from YouTube. It's all worth it in the end, right? One thing though with Wise is if I would have opened it while I was in Canada, I could get a physical debit card. So right now I have money in my USD account on Wise, and I just use my phone to tap at point of sale kiosks. Now that works pretty much everywhere except Walmart. As I said earlier, you have to insert the card. I don't have a card. I can't use the Wise account at Walmart because it doesn't allow the tap feature. But anywhere there's a tap feature on a point of sale kiosk, you could use it as a virtual card from your phone. So that's handy, but I think when my husband goes back to Canada, I'm going to order a physical card so he can bring me one back, and I'll have that card to use everywhere. Now, I mentioned one of the other ones is called Xoom. I think that's how you say it. It's Xoom. It's fast, but I'm told it's not the cheapest. It's owned by PayPal, but it is another option to send money into US currency for use in El Salvador. I'm told it's especially useful to send money to someone who does not have a bank account. I don't know how that works, but the exchange rates aren't as good as Wise, or at least according to ChatGPT, because I had to ask him more about Xoom because I don't know about that one. And apparently there's higher fees. Here's a quick breakdown of the main options. Method, cash. Okay, cash is king in this country, so that is definitely a really good option. It's best for, immediately you got to pay somebody, a street vendor, whatever, taxi cab. You have it, you give it, it's gone. It's a little harder to keep track of all the purchases if you're not getting receipts. As I do my monthly summary each month, I go through all the receipts I have in my wallet, and sometimes they don't give you a receipt if you pay with cash. It makes it harder to follow up on all your transactions and do a budget. I'm just going to say that about cash. And if you want to exchange it, say at the airport, because you didn't bring enough cash with you, that's really high. And you cannot exchange your currency anywhere else in El Salvador. So you either bring it with you from your home country, and I don't know what your exchange rates are there, but if you do it here in the airport, it's definitely a really high exchange rate. So bring it with you or find another method. But its speed is instant. We'll give it that. You can always just hand someone $1. You could go to the ATM, and you could do this every day because you would have a daily limit probably in your home bank account. And like I said, the daily limit here is $500 per transaction. Actually, I don't know if it's a daily limit, it's per transaction, but it would flow with whatever your daily limit is in your home bank account. The fees are moderate. Like I said, $13 Canadian to take out, $500 American. So it's $722.12 to get $500 American. So think about that. The exchange rate, it's fair, we'll say. I don't know if it's fair. I didn't think that was very fair to me, but it's instant. You can always get money out of the ATM. Credit cards, definitely very convenient, very instant, bad exchange rates, but good for use in emergencies. If you need to pay for something you did not expect, like a hospital bill, for example, if you went to a private clinic if something happened, using a credit card, if you have, room on your card, and that's good if you have a really expensive bill all of a sudden. Great for emergencies. And they're accepted, I'd say, almost everywhere here. I wouldn't go to a street vendor and buy a couple of tomatoes and try to use a credit card. At any restaurant, hotel, even with Uber, you can put your credit card on Uber. You can put your credit card with the Pedidos Ya app and get takeout at the house. There's many places that take credit card, but no issues at all. You can use something like Wise, like I'm doing. That's really great if you want to transfer large sums of money from your home country to here and use the intermediary of the exchange rate of Wise for your home currency to the US dollar currency, and then move it to a bank account here. Or, like I said, I used my phone. I just tap on those point of sale kiosks. Or if you happen to do this in your home country at the time, and your home country is on the list of whatever countries are allowed by Wise, you could get a physical card. And then you have this debit card to use everywhere you go. The fees are very low, and the exchange rate's very good with Wise. Now, I did mention a little bit about Xoom. There are other ones. I'm not familiar with any other ones except Wise. I'll just say that as a disclaimer again. But you want to use something to send money to other people. Apparently, Xoom is the way to go because it's based on PayPal. Got some moderate fees. Exchange rates are, it tells me so here. Like I said, ChatGPT gave me the information about Xoom because I know nothing about that. And it goes minutes to hours. I would say that the Wise transfer for a big wire transfer takes a couple of days. That's usually based on your own bank. Like my bank called me to say, hey, wait now, somebody's trying to take money out of your account. Is that really you? So first of all, I had to get that phone call and say, yes, it's really me. I'm trying to move this money. I'm paying for a company to do a service for me, and I need to pay them. So I need this chunk of money. So that was probably partially based on your home bank speed and then the Y is system speed. And then if you're moving it onto another bank, like a bank in El Salvador, that's the speed of that bank too, right? So there's 3 steps there. That could be 1, 2, 3, or 5 business days. Who knows how long? So what we do personally, is I combine things together. Like I mentioned, I move money from my Canadian bank account into my Wise Canadian account, transfer to my Wise American account, and I just tap with my phone. That is one way I take Canadian currency and turn it into US dollars and use it on a daily basis. But my main source is actually with Bitcoin. Now, I know people are like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of crypto. I don't know why. I guess maybe I was too back in 2023. But I'm going to do an interview with somebody and show you it's not as scary as you might think it is. One of the things I do is I kind of been saving in Bitcoin for a trip that we had in July. So I would take money from my bank account. I would do, in Canada, you can do an e-transfer, and I use the Bull Bitcoin exchange. So I just e-transfer to there, and then I buy my crypto with that, and I would put it in my crypto wallet, which is, I'm using Blue Wallet for those transactions. That's an on-chain transaction. And then here, what I do, I go take my Blue Wallet. I go to, remember I mentioned a Chivo ATM machine. I go to a Chivo ATM machine and I do English and then I do sell Bitcoin. It has little buttons, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and it goes up to 500 because 500, again, is the max. So I did the 500, typed my phone number in. Luckily, I actually still have my Canadian number. So because the limit is, this is the only KYC they have is your phone number. The limit is $1,000 a day per phone number. So when we had to do large purchases like the rest of the shipping container or when we bought a car, I had my Salvadorian number, I had my Canadian number, I had my husband's number, I had my 3 kids' numbers, that's 6,000. And I had my friend Stan. I'm like, Stan, I need your phone number too. So what you do is you type in the phone number and it gives you a 6-digit code. You type in the 6-digit code and then it gives you the QR code, I think a 5-minute counter. So I open my wallet on my phone, I do send money, and then my wallet has a QR scanner thing. I press the button for QR scanner. I have the camera open over the kiosk with the QR code. It scans the QR code. It goes to my wallet saying, you want to send $500 to this Chivo ATM, blah, blah, blah. Swipe to confirm, and they tell me what the fee is going to be. And it's usually under $2. It's usually $1 something. I do yes, okay, $1.34. That's great. Swipe, I confirm. It does my face print. And then I wait within the 5-minute counter. And sometime usually in that 5 minutes, I get the money. I say usually because twice it didn't. And the counter counted down, all the 5 minutes were gone. And then the machine kind of sets up for the next customer. And I'm like, did I just lose $500? So what happens was, because it's Bitcoin and because it's on chain, you can actually check. You can go into the meme pool, MEMEPOOL, and you can see where your transaction is in the pool. You actually could pay more to speed it up. I don't do that because I'm trying to save money here, not waste money. So you need to wait. Your piece of the blockchain goes through the meme pool and gets processed. So there's a lot of transactions in that block, and you need to wait till that block gets processed. I've only had to wait twice out of all the times I've done this for that 5-minute counter to time out. But this one particular time, I had to wait a half an hour. I guess it was really busy at that time. There was a lot of Bitcoin transactions. I'm not sure what was going on in the meme pool. Something was slow. And I had to wait. So I sat down and I'm like thinking, okay, I know I'm going to get my money. I have faith I'm going to get my money. It says pending on my phone. Pending. It does pending until you get 3 confirmations. It says pending, 0 confirmations. So I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden my phone chimes and I get a text message from Chivo saying, your money is available, and they give me another 6-digit code. I go to the ATM. It has 3 features: buy Bitcoin, so you can put cash in and buy Bitcoin; sell Bitcoin, which is what I typically do; and then one is something like process the transaction or something like that. So I click English again. I do the process the transaction, and I put in the 6-digit code that Chivo's given me, and then it spits out my money. And you can't do another transaction until you get that one, because I won it really $1,000, and here I had to wait a half an hour for $500. So I went and did it again, thinking, okay, well, it's quick now. No, again, the timer ran out, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to wait another half an hour? I'm going to be here forever. But this one was like maybe 10 minutes later. I get the text message saying the money's there. I go to the Chivo ATM, type in the code again, and get the money out. And that's great. Then I have the $1,000, and then I go to my Banco Agricola, and I deposit it in the ATM machine there because I need to pay the rent, and that's $600. So that's typically what I do. I use Bitcoin that I have either moved in already. I have like pension money. I have my paycheck money. I had whatever money I had in my account. I moved it over in Bitcoin into my wallet, and I use that to take money out of the ATM. But there's another way to use Bitcoin here, and this is sort of what Blue Kelly was promoting, was to have a Lightning wallet. So I use Blink wallet here because I'm not Salvadorian. If you're Salvadorian, you can actually have a Chivo wallet, which is a Lightning wallet. Lightning is, I'm not really technical in the whole crypto space, but Lightning is the fast way to do a transaction. So you wouldn't be waiting for a half an hour to pay for your groceries at Walmart based on the on-chain transaction. You won't even be waiting 5 minutes. So what I do, I use this at Walmart, PriceSmart, Walmart. I think Super Selectos still take crypto. Actually, quite a few places still take it. I just don't shop at those places, but I use this as a price mart. So what I do, I have a Blink wallet, which is a Lightning wallet, which is a custodial wallet. You need to learn about crypto, but Blue Wallet is a non-custodial wallet. I own the keys. I own the crypto. Blink is not like that. There's no keys. It's custodial. So they own the wallet. So I don't keep a lot of money there because as much faith as I have in the banking system of Canada is probably about as much faith as I have in the Blink wallet as well, or anyone that's keeping my crypto in their possession. So I usually put a couple $1,000s on there before I go and spend money, because usually it's closer to $1,000 a price mark because we only go once a month or, every 6 weeks or something. What I do is I'll move money from my Blue wallet to my Blink wallet. So I'll have maybe $1,000 in there. And then when I get to the cashier, I say I want to pay with Bitcoin, and then I open up my Blink wallet, and she has her little machine. This is really important because they're not all familiar with other than Chivo wallet. Their Chivo one has a button. They can do, oh, you have a Chivo wallet? I'll pick Chivo. They know this one. The next one is just Lightning. One is on-chain, and one is, I don't even know what the other is, 4 buttons. One time at Walmart, they picked the on-chain one, and the transaction took 10 minutes, or at least 5 minutes or something like that. The transaction took some more time, and it also cost me $10. So that was their mistake. They shouldn't have picked on-chain. So make sure when they're doing it, because they may not be familiar, that they pick Lightning. So they pick Lightning, it comes up the QR code, I open my Blink wallet, I press the scan button, I hold it over top of their kiosk, it scans it, and it says, do you want to pay, price mart $625? Yes or no, it's going to cost you whatever fee. Now this fee often gets, actually I think it always gets reimbursed. And I'll do swipe to confirm, and then it'll say, ding, a little check mark saying it's gone through. And then usually my next transaction in that Blink wallet says fee reimbursed, because they say it costs money, but then they give it back. I don't know, because maybe I'm using it here. I don't know if this works in every country, but this is how it works in El Salvador. And that is how I use crypto to buy everyday things, like my groceries, for example. It also, like I said, works at Walmart, so you're buying household goods and whatnot. You could do that. You could use it to pay vendors if people are taking Bitcoin. Like there's lots of places along the beach. They call it Bitcoin Beach for a reason. The bars and restaurants and everyone there, they also would take crypto using Lightning. So I hope this helped you figure out useful ways to turn your currency into a useful currency in this country when you come to visit or move here. If you've used any other services or you have any tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments, because it's always great to share information. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We share new videos every week. And if you want to connect with others on the same journey of coming to El Salvador, I have a WhatsApp group called Ask Me Anything, and we do weekly meetups, and there's a Google Meets link below in the description. We meet every Monday night at 7 p.m. El Salvador time. I'm trying to bring in other people to give talks about different things. Like a couple weeks ago, we had Charlie Stevens come on to talk about crypto. This past week, we had Jenny Airy talking about relocation. So I'm going to try to bring in different people from all over to give everyone as much awareness about what goes on in this country and how people are here to help you, because we all want a better life for our families and ourselves, and that's why people are coming to El Salvador. So any tips and tricks I can share or others can share in the comments, that is more than welcome. Thank you all. See you in the next video.
Don't forget to hit the like button.